makes me mad as hell. I could use stronger language here, Mr. Chairman, but in deference to the committee, I won't. If there's anything that gets me angrier than just hearing allegations is to hear you tell me that we have folks that can't be truthful because they think the system doesn't allow it.
Would you explain to me, after knowing all this information, why you should not resign?
Well, I tell you, Senator, that I came here to make things better for veterans. That was my appointment by the president.
Yeah, well, he didn't do it, and he hasn't been doing it, and it's disgraceful. Joining us now, and of course, that of course was the Veterans Affairs Secretary Eric Shinseki, and joining us now is our friend Congressman Paul Broun, Republican from Georgia, running for the Republican nomination for the Senate seat from the great state of Georgia. Congressman, welcome.
Steve, it's always great being with you.
Always great to talk. Always great to talk to you. All right, you know, I got to tell you, not only did I watch this in disgust, but I watched the White House Chief of Staff McDonough on with Jake Tapper last night on CNN, and every answer to every question, Tapper was getting real angry and saying, you know, how many dead veterans do you need before you make a change? And McDonough was like, oh well, we're improving things for veterans. I was sick.
Yep, everybody should be sick. In fact, 16 of us in the House wrote a letter dated May 12th to the President asking that General Shinseki be fired. In fact, the rot starts at the top, and this Secretary of Veterans Affairs has been just absolutely awful as an administrator. I'm a veteran myself. In fact, I was deployed to Afghanistan as a medical doctor back in 2012. I was over there taking care of sick and injured soldiers and Marines. And as a medical doctor, as a veteran myself, as someone who believes that taking care of our veterans is one of the prime responsibilities of our federal government, this secretary must go.
You know, we've heard stories of the Legionnaire's disease, and then the people who were in charge got promoted and got bonuses. Story after story, warnings that went unheeded, and of course, culminating with the 40 deaths in Arizona, and horror stories all over the country. What kind of president doesn't even take a symbolic move and say, you know what? We have to change this, but instead they make believe none of this happened or none of this is seriousness, and they send the Chief of Staff to the President of the United States onto CNN to basically poo-poo it and say the system is good.
Well, it's not good. In fact, the major function of the federal government under the Constitution is a strong national defense, and we've got to take care of our veterans on the backside of serving if we're going to have good people come in and be senior NCOs, to be senior officers or flag officers, the generals and admirals, and we're just not doing so. The federal government has promised these veterans that they're going to be taken care of, and it's not just those veterans that are dying in Arizona. We've had 3 deaths that probably could be prevented in Decatur, Georgia. We've had veterans, over 5,000 veterans that needed colonoscopies at the Charlie Norwood VA Center in Augusta, Georgia, that were delayed. Some of those who were delayed were people who needed diagnostic colonoscopies. That means they had symptoms. Some of them have died, and it's because of the delayed treatment. This is just totally unacceptable. Secretary Shinseki should go, and the president, I don't understand why he has not already said, you're gone today, yesterday. He should have been gone. We sent this letter on May the 12th to the president, and what do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. It's infuriating as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, you know, veterans should have the best of everything. I don't have to tell you. You're one of those people that no matter who puts a uniform on, I always say they're a better person than I am for doing so. And just unimaginable the way these veterans have been treated and are being treated, and an administration that says, oh no, again, it's the grass is blue and the sky is green, and if you don't agree with that, then there's something wrong with you. That's what they are about everything.
Well, this administration seems to have a disdain, maybe even a hatred, for the military as well as our veterans. And just from the military perspective, I was talking just before Thanksgiving last year, I was talking to a 3-star Army general. He didn't have enough rounds of ammunition for his troops to go out to the rifle range and just requalify with their rifles. I've talked to pilots who don't have enough fuel for their helicopters, their jet aircraft, and their transport aircraft to stay current. This is totally unacceptable, and the American people need to rise up and say no to this administration. We've got to take care of our troops. We've got to take care of our veterans. This administration has been deplorable in doing that, and we've got to stop a lot of the stuff that the federal government's doing and stop creating this out-of-control spending and debt. I want to close down the Department of Education, the Department of Labor, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Energy. And send those powers back to the states and people and take care of our veterans and take care of our soldiers and sailors, airmen, and Marines. We're not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. I want you to hear something Bill Clinton said, and I think this is what you're going to hear from Hillary, whether it's at the Select Committee or going forward if she runs for president. This is part of it. Listen to what Bill Clinton said about Benghazi.
Sure. Benghazi is a whole different deal.
I know, but I just threw it in there.
We did, in my opinion, Hillary did what she should have done. She impaneled a very high-level review committee with the immediate past chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Mullen, who's backstage, and Tom Pickering, our country's most distinguished senior diplomat, who's worked for more Republicans than Democrats in his life. And they looked into what was wrong. They gave 29 recommendations. She took them and started implementing them.
All right, now he's talking about the report, which of course she was not even interviewed for, but I want you to hear the next bite as well.
And they established the fact that whether it was right or wrong in the past, secretaries of state never were involved directly in these security decisions. And they also have untangled what was an early mystery at Benghazi when all we knew was that 4 people were killed, and we know now 2 of them were heavily armed CIA contractors who were military combat veterans, and they were part of a group of 20 authorized to provide security, among other things, where they were in Benghazi.
All right, so I don't know. So secretaries of state have nothing to do with providing security. And by the way, there 2 of the 4 who were killed were heavily armed, and a group of 20 providing security. So the implication is, well, we had heavily armed people there. So I don't know. I mean, this is the first inkling we're getting of where Hillary might take it.
Pitch blame, pitch blame, pitch blame. That's all they do. That's what Bill Clinton has done over and over again. That's what Hillary Clinton has done over and over again. The consulate in Benghazi asked for increased security over and over again, even with the people that were there. It was denied multiple times. Again, the rot starts at the top. Hillary Clinton is totally responsible for her whole department, and when they made this request, and then further, when they were trying to get people to go there, the military wanted to go, and they were told to stand down.
Right, absolutely.
And we already know that it goes all the way up to the highest level of the State Department, maybe even the highest level of the White House. That's the reason I've been pushing for a special select committee that can really get to the bottom of all this and find out who's to blame. It's just like at the VA in the State Department, heads need to roll. We've got to fire people. People have been totally incompetent in doing their job to protect this country, and it's just got to stop.
All right, I couldn't agree with you more. We got a minute left. You got a big day coming up soon, and on Tuesday, the primary. How's it going down in Georgia?
It's going great. Low turnout, which means my principal voters are going to be a whole lot more effective. People can go on my website, paulbroun.com, B-R-O-U-N. Help us have the resources to contribute so that we can get our vote out to the polls to vote this coming Tuesday, May 20th. So paulbroun.com, P-A-U-L-B-R-O-U-N, and contribute.
All right, Congressman, always great to talk to you, sir. Keep it up.
Thanks much. God bless you. Keep up.
Congressman Paul Broun, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to say B-R-O-U-N, but he took the letters right out of my mouth because he knows how to spell his name even better than I do. It's going to be interesting results on Tuesday night down in Georgia. All right, folks, we're coming back, and we're going to analyze Bill Clinton's remarks further with the panel right here on the Steve Malzberg Show.